Tradition on both sides in the Class A championship game. The Herrin Tigers won the big trophy back in 1957. They face Pleasant Plains. The Cardinals going for their second title in the last 3 years. Next on the IHSA TV network.
March Madness reaches its pinnacle here tonight on the floor at Carver Arena in downtown Peoria as we get ready to crown a Class A state champion. We started with 8 teams Friday at 12:15, and now we are down to 2. It's the Herrin Tigers taking on the Cardinals of Pleasant Plains. Both teams have one state championship, big trophy there in their trophy case back home, and somebody's going to take home a second one here tonight. Let's go to Jim Albrecht and Matt Taphorn for the call of tonight's championship game. Guys.
Thank you very much, Lee Hall. There have been preseason favorites and postseason favorites and all of that, but it only matters now that there are 2 remaining, and they are Pleasant Plains and, of course, Herrin. Who will be the champion in 2002? We're about to find out. Let's take a look how they got here in the last 2 weeks. Pleasant Plains had some tough games. An OT against Virginia, and of course another OT against Bloomington Central Catholic here, and then playing maybe the finest game of basketball I've seen in a long time against Bureau Valley. As far as Herrin, not a lot of problems, actually. Harrisburg, Benton, Pinckneyville, Farmington, and Unity have all fallen by the wayside. Matt Taphorn is standing by. Matt, let's take a look at some of the key players here, and we'll start, of course, with Mr. Outside, Joey Almsmeyer.
Almsmeyer does a great job, and Jordan Roth is also a big producer for them. The All-State senior, 32 points in the 2 games here in the state tournament series. He's going to be looked upon to have a big role in trying to control Brian Algie inside for Herrin.
And of course, there's so many good players on this Herrin team, and one of them really goes to the glass hard, Mike Gavick.
Mike Gavick does a great job. He's been the leading scorer for both games, but Brian Algie is the go-to guy inside. 6'9", 255 pounds, 33 points in the 2 games here. He's a guy who creates a lot of problems for a matchup against a team like Pleasant Plains.
And as we said, they're so balanced, a lot of guys show up on the screen. Keys to the game, as far as Pleasant Plains is concerned, they got to pack it in defensively.
They do. They can't let Algie and a guy like Mike Gavick do the damage. They need to run the floor. They need to create some transition baskets and stay balanced. Keep that balance throughout the team.
And of course, Herrin can control the boards, and they better do it here tonight.
They got the size with Algie and Gavick inside. Transition D is going to be important, and it's Algie time. Brian Algie needs to step up.
It is state championship time at the Peoria Civic Center. We're ready to bring it to you live on the IHSA TV network after these local messages. Well, let's take a look at the people who made this game happen, the players and the coaches, with our PA announcer, Paul Herzog.
Good evening, basketball fans. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association and the City of Peoria, welcome to America's original March Madness. Please direct your attention to the Carver Arena floor. We have with us tonight some very special guests. Back in 1952, Hebron, with an enrollment of only 99 students, beat Quincy 64-59 in overtime to become state champions in the first state tournament game ever televised in Illinois. The Green Giants are the one and only school in IHSA history to advance out of a district tournament and win the boys basketball state championship. Their story has been captured in a book, Once There Were Giants. Many of them are here with us. Presenting commemorative medallions to the team on the 50th anniversary of their great accomplishment is the author of the book, Scott Johnson, and Jeff Creek of the IHSA staff. And now, please welcome to the Carver Arena floor, the 35-1 Hebron Green Giants. With us are Judy Benda, daughter of the late coach Russ Ahern. Craig Hadley, son of assistant coach Phil Hadley. Shirley Erkey, widow of number 22, Clayton Erkey. Number 21, forward, Jim Wilbrandt, also accepting a medallion for his late brother, number 8, Don Wilbrandt. Number 7, center, Joe Schmidt. Number 10, guard, Jim Burgett. Number 12, guard, Bill Thayer. Number 6, guard, Ken Spooner. Number 9, forward, Phil Judson. Number 4, guard, Paul Judson. And number 17, Bill Schultz, center. Thank you for being here. How about a hand for the Hebron Green Giants? And now, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's championship game featuring the Pleasant Plain Cardinals and the Herrin Tigers. At a forward, for Pleasant Plains, a 6'7" senior, 15, Jordan Roth. At a forward, for Herrin, a 6'3" junior, 35, Mike Gavick. The other forward for the Cardinals, a 6'2" senior, number 40, Ryan Sunley. At center for the Tigers, a 6'9" senior, number 50, Brian Algie. At center for Pleasant Plains, a 6'3" senior, number 54, Joe Miles. One of 3 guards for Herrin, a 6'1" junior, number 10, Brad Walker. At a guard for the Cardinals, a 5'10" senior, 21, Joey Altsmeyer. The guard for the Tigers, a 6'1" senior, 15, Eddie Wills. The other guard for Pleasant Plains, a 6'5" junior, number 25, John Edmondson. The third guard for Herrin is 6'1" senior, 21, Mike O'Donoghue. Head coach of Pleasant Plains in his 7th season, 4 for the Cardinals, a record of 115-17, Cliff Cameron. Head coach for Herrin in his 10th season, 3 at Herrin, a record of 56-28, Mike Mooneyham. No other state in America can claim the rich history and tradition that's been generated by March Madness in Illinois. March Madness is an IHSA thing. It always has been and always will be. Fans of America's original March Madness, please direct your attention to the arena floor. The floor officials for this game will be referee Brian Schomburg of Chinoa. Umpires are Kevin Kokenauer of Watseka and Rich Hornicle of Chatsworth. Presenting the game ball for this final game will be Holly Wilmert, Community Relations Representative Silco, one of this year's sponsors for the fabulous March Madness experience. All of us here in the Civic Center thank Silco for its contribution to the greatest high school single event in the land. And now to honor America. Please remove your caps and address the flag with your hand over your heart. As guest soloist, Paul Brennan, a senior at Metamora High School, sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
A touch of class here at the Peoria Civic Center as the names on that old scorecard from 1957 stayed on the floor and greeted all of tonight's participants. Matt. That, of course, is how they advanced in the quarterfinals. You can see Hebron beat a tough Lawrenceville team, and boy, 1957, where has the time gone? Good to see those faces carrying those memories on the center court here at the Peoria Civic Center as we await the crowning of another champion. Pleasant Plains will start it with Ross, Sunley, Miles, Alsmeyer, who was way hot today, and Edmondson, Gavick, Algie, Walker, Wills, and Old Downey. Matt Taphorn will join me momentarily. Somebody stole his microphone, I think.
We'll make do while we can, I guess.
There you are. I missed you.
I'm back in. Here we go. Glad to join you here tonight, Jim.
Well, of course, the Giants of Hebron were one thing. The Giant of Herrin is another. That is Brian Algie at 6'9", 255, with a bushel basket full of moves to boot.
Now we'll see if the team play of Pleasant Plains can offset some of the individual play that Herrin's going to bring to the table, and a guy like Brian Algie.
It is controlled by the Tigers. Herrin comes in at 26-7. Pleasant Plains now 31-3. Eddie Wills, the senior guard, will drive baseline, hang, and that's a little short. And as they usually do, Pleasant Plains fights for the rebound, and they'll win that battle as Wills was out of bounds before he threw it off of Sunley.
Both players went out of bounds that time. It ended up being who was the last one to touch it before they hit the ground. Interesting to see Algie out on the perimeter, though, to start on the offense. Really gave Pleasant Plains the opportunity to get their hands on that defensive rebound.
With the basketball is Joey Aldsmeyer. This is Edmondson, the fine-looking junior, and they move it around.
Herring starting in that 2-3 zone. See if the perimeter shooting of Pleasant Plains can find an opening here in the early going.
Well, Aldsmeyer has 94 threes on the year, so if he's going to bust a zone, he knows how to do it.
Try to run a play for him, get him freed up in the corner.
There he is. And there it is.
Well, we talked about him long enough. Finally, he was able to find an opening and get a good-looking shot. And I'm sure that that's one thing that Coach Mike Mooneyham stressed to his team. Don't let him get a good look.
The Tigers back on the offensive end after an unsuccessful trip. Of course, you can see Algie inside, and he'll come outside. He'll show you some range. Gavick doesn't usually take a shot from that location, but fortunately for Herrin, it's out of bounds and in their possession.
The first 2 shots for Herrin have been outside the lane. That's exactly where Pleasant Plains wants to push them. They want to try to pack it in and make them shoot outside of that lane area.
It's not that Gavick can't hit the jumper, but he's a great slasher.
Very effective in and around the basket.
Eddie Wills, who averages 11. Old Donnie, number 21, doesn't shoot a lot, only 5 points per game. When you got Algie, you don't need everybody putting it in the hole. You just need distribution. Pleasant Plains blew away the Storm of Bureau Valley today in the semifinals. Walker can't buy it. And the rebound comes down to Sunley. Ryan Sunley, the 3-year starter. He knows all about winning a state championship because 2 years ago, on a similar night, he was helping hoist a trophy. Wills with a steal. He's got speed. Down he goes, and count him up.
Very careless pass that time by Jordan Roth. Tried to pass off the dribble. Good quick hands that time by Mills, and he goes the other way for the lay-in.
We should mention that both these teams are fairly rested, considering this is the second game of the day, Matt, because Pleasant Plains, of course, got to rest a lot of their starters because they were so far ahead in the second half, and then Algie and Wills were in foul trouble, so they missed about a quarter and a half apiece.
Yeah, they only played about 20 minutes of that ball game, and clearly playing the first game has given them a little opportunity for more time to rest before this championship game.
Well, the Cardinals are going to be awful patient about trying to bust this zone. No point in getting careless early. This is Roth. Not there. Rebound Walker. He is not to the deck, but no call. Mooneyham wanted one, that's for sure. The ball will go the other way in favor of Herrin. There you see Pleasant Plains to the west of Peoria, and Herrin straight down south, all the way down south, where basketball has always been king. Go Herrin Tigers.
Couldn't quite figure out that last call. There was a rebound on the play, and the ball went off of the Herrin rebounder, but they still got possession out of bounds. I think the official gave it to him instead of calling the foul.
Yeah, it looked to me, and here's a bad pass out front. Aldsmeyer gets it rejected by Wills, who goes high, but also got a piece of Joey Aldsmeyer.
Wills did get up on that play. His head almost hit the rim. Great job by Aldsmeyer to anticipate defensively and come up with a steal. Boy, just good springs there by Wills.
Coach Mooneyham just came over to me and said he was up there. Oh, yeah, I would say he was cleared for takeoff. Aldsmeyer, who averages 13 points a game, and as we've told you, their leading three-point threat. Also a pretty accurate free throw shooter at 77% on the campaign. Not only did he hit threes today against Bureau Valley, he took the ball down the court 1-on-2 a couple of times with some great moves and some great finishes. This IHA SA broadcast is brought to you by AGCO Tractor. You got to drive one. And by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. Pleasant Plains, of course, with a population of 701 and 379 students. Herrin, a little bit bigger city. They're the big city boys compared to Pleasant Plains, and an enrollment of 667. The Sangamon Conference, glad to have Pleasant Plains in it. Of course, unless you got to play them all the time. The Southern Illinois River to River Ohio Conference is where Brian Algie plays. You got a good shot of Brian Algie there just seconds ago, and please make this note, he hasn't touched the ball offensively yet.
And that's not a formula of success for Herrin in this ball game. They need to get him involved, and preferably in the first quarter.
And Walker had a mind cramp. He dribbled once, stopped, and dribbled again, and that press will do it to you. Pleasant Plains gets points off their three-quarter length press.
Good job out of that out-of-bounds play by Pleasant Plains to change up their defense and put on that full-court pressure.
Sunley goes up, and he'll get a trip to the free-throw line for his efforts, and I believe
foul will be on Algie, and he's looking around kind of confused, and it was clearly a foul. Good penetration here by Sunley. Gets inside, and Brian Algie hacks him on the arm as he's trying to lay it in off the glass.
Ryan Sunley averages 13, had 18 in the super sectional, 9 in the quarters. Didn't have a great scoring game in the semifinals this afternoon, but didn't need to. Had only 4. And suddenly the Cardinals are right where they were this afternoon.
Well, Pleasant Plains must have worked on their free throw shooting this afternoon, because in the game this morning they were 11 for 22 from the line. They're 4 out of 4 in this ball game so far.
And Friday they were 13 of 22. So yeah, maybe that's what they did between sets. Who knows?
Not a bad strategy. Free throws can win you some games.
You know, if I'm a coach and I'm staying in a hotel, I want to have a room with a bucket in it. Just for free throws. Got to get it into Algie. Usually he has great hands. That one, he claims, was not touched by one of his mammoth hands, but the official did not see it that way. And here comes Pleasant Plains, the Cardinals, with a lot of fans backing them up and making a lot of noise.
Algie's getting a little frustrated out there. His demeanor is, you know, very frustrated. He's got his hands on the ball one time, but hasn't had any success.
Edmondson.
That's that slashing move off the glass that Edmondson's been able to do so far in this state tournament. Great athletic move inside against Algie.
They're going to have to solve this press and do it right now, because if they fall behind by 10 or 12, there's Walker falling down, and here come the Cardinals with the numbers. 3 on 2. Edmondson hanging, hitting.
That's just a duplicate of the shot he had before. Nice move, a little up and under off the glass. Edmondson's a nice player. Creates a steal on one end, gets the ball back from Alsmeyer at the other end, and lays it in off the glass.
The only junior on the starting 5.
Good control with his body there, avoids the charge or the contact, avoids Wills trying to come in and block the shot, and still is able to get the ball in off the glass.
What the Cardinals do to teams is they get in your head right away. They come up and they challenge you, and they intimidate you right off the bat, and they set the tone for the game right there.
Well, they want this to be a full court game. There's no doubt about it. It kind of gets Brian Algie and Mike Gavick out of the game if they can get into a 94-foot basketball game.
Coach Mike Mooneyham and the Tigers are in a bit of trouble here. It's early. That's to their advantage, but so far little else is. Another turnover as Wills tried to go to Gavick, and Edmondson read the mail.
Gavick was open momentarily, but Edmondson did a good job of hustling back on defense and getting in the passing lane.
Jordan Roth, number 15, with the basketball right now. Great pitcher on the baseball team as well. And I mean a great pitcher. Hanging at Sunley. He was challenged by Algie.
Bad shot that time. Sunley left his feet too early. Had nothing left to do with it. He got it up off the glass. A really poor shot selection.
Walker with the ball, and the Tigers, dressed in white, need to knock it down. Walker doesn't rebound. Edmondson.
I tell you, Joe Miles for Pleasant Plains is doing a great job on Brian Algie. He's staying right on him everywhere he goes. As soon as the shot goes up, his only responsibility is to keep him off the boards.
Well, if you're going to put a body on Algie, use the biggest body you got, and Miles is just that at 6'3", 220 pounds. The senior getting it done.
And he's still giving up 6 inches and about 30 pounds to Brian Algie. Good inside-out action.
Trouble? No. Algie almost picked up his second foul, and the man we talked about, Miles, gets it out to Sunley. That's off the mark. Tipped up. No. Algie controls it, and he does so out to O'Donnell. Wide open at the other end is Walker faking, going up, and he'll draw the foul.
Travel. Little stutter step underneath. Herron had the transition momentarily, but again, good hustle that time by Edmondson. He doesn't give up on the play. He takes the hop step and one more step after that, and that's called for travel.
I think you call that hearing footsteps coming. Or sneakers in this case.
But you got to give Edmondson credit. Did not give up on the play. Even though he was beaten, he hustled down and was able to get to the ball player.
Look at this drop off to Miles.
That's where Miles scores a lot of his buckets, just hanging around the basket, waiting for somebody to commit and dump the ball into him. He's right there on the block.
Last year, as you recall, Pinckneyville had this kind of start to win the championship and cruised. Here's inside to Gavick. That's where he makes his presence felt, when he's going straight to the glass. He goes hard. He doesn't hesitate.
Good entry pass that time, and Gavick had a great angle. He really sealed his man to the high side on that block, so he would get the ball and go right to the glass.
Again, Alvsmeyer misses. And this time Gavick has the ball end up in his hands.
Alvsmeyer really wasn't set that time with the ball. It was off the dribble that time, not as effective. Didn't really get himself square to the bucket.
Into the final minute of the first quarter of the final game of the year in Class A. Algie can hit that shot, but not this time. Sunley says, I'll take it. And let's see if Plains just wants to hang on for a final shot here.
And as Algie's shooting a three-point shot, Mike Gavick's the only one in the lane. He's being blocked out. You have three Pleasant Plains defenders going to the glass.
Algie took about 60 three-pointers during the course of the year and hit 26 of them, so it's not that he is doing something that's foreign to him. Although when you see a 6'9" guy, most people want him down low.
So part of that might be just a frustration shot. He's trying to get himself involved in the ball game, hasn't had an opportunity to get many looks with the great defense being played by Joe Miles.
Alvsmeyer will crank it up with about 15 seconds remaining here in the first quarter of play. Jim Albrecht and Matt Taphorn, along with Lee Hall courtside. Here's a turnover. Wills is going to be in a hurry to catch it, and a great defensive play by Alvsmeyer, who prevented the lay-in.
That's quick on quick there. Great hands, first of all, by Wills to deflect the pass, but Alvsmeyer was beaten on the play. He recovered very well, was able to strip the ball as Wills went to the bucket.
Watch the defense on Algie. They're covering him up, and now he's way in the corner against Miles, and he walked, or did he get fouled? He got pushed by Joe Miles.
Be the first team foul calls against Pleasant Plains. Not a bad foul in that situation. Really. Only 5 seconds left in the quarter. Certainly want to keep Algie as frustrated as you possibly can.
And now it's pretty much a pass and a shoot situation for Herron, which has scored only 4 points here in the first quarter.
Keep an eye on Gavick on this play. Look at the rim.
And the outlet to Wills. They need it, and they get it. At the end of the first quarter, Eddie Wills drills it from the right corner, and the Cardinals lead cut to 6. It's 13-7. Pleasant Plains. We'll be back after these local messages.
Eight minutes in the books in this championship contest. It's Pleasant Plains with a 13-7 lead. It is our distinct pleasure and honor to be with one Giants from 1952, Ken Spooner. Mr. Spooner, what a wonderful ceremony before the game. Congratulations and welcome back where you belong.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful ceremony. We all loved it.
50 years ago, I bet it seems like a couple of eye blinks to you.
50 years has gone very, very fast. Yes, it has.
Tell me what you remember most about the time. I know the trip back to Hebron was quite special too.
Yeah, the trip back to Hebron was a real memorable event. People all along the way, standing along the roadside, waving, cheering. Morris, Crystal Lake, Woodstock, towns had us into the square, took us around, cheering. Big games against Elgin, finals of the regional. That was maybe, close to being the state tournament right there. And then, of course, the Quincy overtime game was super memorable.
Yeah. Hey, it's very special to have you here with us tonight. Congratulations and welcome back.
Thank you.
Scott Johnson, Julie Kistler did the book, Once There Were Giants. They're still Giants. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lee. You saw Jordan Roth take it inside and off the glass and give the Cardinals an 8-point spread at 15-7.
Algie did pick up a block after that timeout, or right at the start of the quarter there as well. So he's starting to make a little bit more of a presence inside, but Jordan Roth was still able to get that one in off the glass in the paint.
Gavick is at a tough angle down there and doesn't get it to fall because Roth had the good D on it.
Got a little too far underneath the basket that time. Roth really held his ground, didn't allow him to get any closer to the basket with those long arms. He was able to distract the shooter, Mike Gavick, and came away with the board.
Baseline spin shot by John Edmondson.
Little post-up move on the block, good spin move, and off the glass.
As they try to break the press, Sunley picks up the personal foul, and it's a 10-point Plains lead. Pleasant Plains won it in 2000, favored to get back here and do it again last year, but upset by Macomb. Paid back Macomb at this year's Super Sectional. Sean Taylor and the Macomb Bombers were the ones that were wearing the favorite labels a lot this year, but that's why they play them, Matt.
And I saw that Macomb team play against Lewiston and beat the #1 team in the state in a game and beat them handily, and I thought that they were the team to beat. And then when I found out Pleasant Plains beat them by 16, I changed my mind in a hurry.
Well, they said that was one of the better games Plains played all year. Algie, that's nothing but air. And if they can keep him out there all night, they'll be picking up first place.
He's playing right into their hands by shooting a 3.
Roth cross court, Sunley buries it.
Good inside out action that time. Roth didn't force it in the paint. Got it across the court. Now we have a turnover by Heron.
Shake, rattle, and roll. That's what Pleasant Plains is doing to the opposition tonight. Brian Algie and the Heron Tigers will talk it over after we take this timeout. The Heron Tigers going through their books here as far as how they reached the state championship, and of course in the finals winning it. And that is the last time they have ever won a state championship. That man right there is trying to alter that. Mike Mooneyham and his Tigers, though, have a little bit of work to do. They're trailing 20-7. And we'll go the other way.
A little forced action that time as Edmondson is trying to hit the cross-court pass to Alvsmeyer on the open three-point shot. Just needed one extra pass there to swing it to the other side of the floor.
And Brian Algie, who averages 16 points a game and probably could average more, but I mean, he fits within the offensive scheme of things, still has to get involved offensively, and they're doing a great job of keeping him contained with the Pleasant Plains defense.
Joe Miles right now is about half of Brian Algie's shadow.
Look at this D. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Gavick will take it himself. A difficult shot. He gets it to fall. It'll count, and he'll go to the free throw line. I thought he might look across the lane to Algie, but he decided to go acrobatic.
Well, for the last moment there defensively, that's what Suki thought he was going to do as well. And instead he went up strong on the ball side, was able to get the ball to go down and one.
And Thomas Suki has indeed checked in. The 6'4", 185-pound sophomore, wearing number 52 for Pleasant Plains, and a three-point play cuts the lead down to 10.
Big change of possessions there. Pleasant Plains turns the ball over, and then Heron comes down and converts a three-point opportunity. Cuts into that 13-point advantage. Now it's down to 10.
Alvsmeyer looking for the ball in the wing. Nothing there. There's another tip pass. It's loose. Batted away, and coming down with it is Gavick, but he tipped it right to Sunley, who goes inside to Edmondson. He'll be called for traveling. Good pressure defense that time by Heron.
Heron's definitely stepped it up after that last time out. A little more intensity on the floor right now. They're getting a little scattered on the offensive end, and see if they can regroup.
There's a dangerous pass. Gavick goes up and gets it, and only Gavick's athletic ability stopped that from being a turnover, Matt.
Well, that and I think 5 inches, 3 inches. We won't give him that much of an advantage, but there's certainly Alvsmeyer at 6 foot trying to go against 6'3" Gavick on the jump ball scenario there. Gavick definitely had the advantage.
Alvsmeyer with his first personal, 4th team foul for the Cardinals, and head coach Cliff Cameron looking for Algie. And keep your eye on Thomas Suki, who has drawn the defensive assignment now, where he's trying to get inside. This is a very tough shot. It won't fall for Walker, but Gavick is there. He'll go right back up and get it blocked. He'll let it go. No, he'll grab it before it goes out of bounds.
Good block that time by Sunley. Interesting to watch Suki trying to guard Algie inside. Suki's only at about 185, getting up about 70 pounds in there. So with Joe Miles on the bench, Pleasant Plains is down about 30 pounds.
Oldani, no. Rebound comes down to Rob. Boy, he has such good body control.
Well, with that wingspan that he's got, too, he gets his hands on a lot of basketballs.
Here's a tough shot. No. Walker comes down with it the other way.
Pleasant Plains really forcing a lot of shots inside, anticipating Brian Algie to come over defensively and alter their shots, and just haven't had many good looks.
Algie is called for traveling, which he cannot believe. He voices his displeasure, at least to himself.
Well, he voiced it, and if you can read lips, he voiced it to everybody here, and the officials give him a little mouthful right now as well.
And you see Mike Mooneyham in his third year, 56 and 28 since he came to Herrin. Things have slowed down a little bit offensively now, as the defenses are taking over. We'll, of course, have that third and fourth place trophy presentation at the half. And Bureau Valley has won 3 threes in a row. And here's a shot that somehow came out for Roth.
Roth had a good look that time. One of the things Pleasant Plains was very successful in the semifinal game against Bureau Valley was that inside-out action. Trying to get the ball in the high post that time. Roth got it. Just fell short on that 15, 17-foot jump shot.
As you might suspect, Brian Algie leads the team in rebounding. He needs a 3 and doesn't get it. And I'm telling you, that's his third three-point attempt. And
the only 3 shots he's taken are three-point shots. So I don't quite figure out what they're trying to do offensively.
Altsmeyer. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Algie didn't get out and guard him on the perimeter. Altsmeyer just waited and waited and said, if you're not going to guard me, I'll just shoot it.
And here's a foul out front, almost a phantom foul, according to John Edmondson, but he doesn't get to make the call. The man in the stripe does.
That's the second or third foul that Pleasant Plains has picked up in that press situation, and not cutting him off on the sideline, simply reaching in, foul on the sideline area.
The Cardinals still hold the advantage. Let's take a look at that old Herrin team, and I only mean that with all the respect in the world and as far as the timetable, because back in 1957, Herrin and Coach Earl Lee were honored with the state championship. Earl Lee, of course, made it back to state the next year in 58 and 59 as well, but did not win the state championship. And there's the co-captains, Ivan Jefferson and John Tidwell, accepting the trophy. Don't you love color footage too? But that shows you just how much of a time capsule this actually is as they accept the trophy. They beat Collinsville, of course, 46-42, and they had to beat the legendary coach Virgil Fletcher to get it done. The 1957 Herrin Tigers. Here, I'm sure they're rooting for this Herrin Tiger team. I don't think they're rooting for Pleasant Plains. Walker had a good idea, but a bad end result.
Anticipated the foul, and there it didn't come. He missed the bucket.
Roth feeling it, but not getting it. There's a lot of talk about Algie and Wills and Gavick, but Brad Walker very active as well. Had a great super sectional game, as a matter of fact. Kind of pulled that out for the Herrin Tigers against Pinckneyville. Gavick had the move, but he didn't bring the basketball along with it.
Got double teamed down low and lost the ball momentarily, and Jordan Roth helped out as well and was able to pick up the loose ball.
Through the first 14 minutes, Herrin has been held to just 10 points. There's good defense at the other end by Algie. And, you know, they got to convert on these.
Jordan Roth turned around and just ran into Algie. Algie held his ground. Was able to come away with a steal. That time Walker went a little stronger. Didn't anticipate the foul as much and worried about making the basket instead.
Walker, only a junior. Averages 8.5 points a game. Had 16 in that super sectional game I was talking about against Pinckneyville. And Dick Korn, who owns 2 state championships as well. They're going to take their time here. They have the lead in the basketball. The young men in red. Altsmeyer, no. Tipped up and in. It'll count. Suddenly gets it to fall, and more importantly, Algie might have picked up his second foul.
That was a great tip in by Sunley. The inside-out action again created an opening for Altsmeyer, but watch Sunley get up here, get his hand on the ball, and Algie's coming over the back for the foul. It'll be the 3-point opportunity, the 2 and 1.
And that's 2 on Mr. Algie. And of course, if you're Mike Mooneyham, you get your big man out of there right now, which he will do. Replacing him is Joe Mazer, the 6'4", 200-pound senior. And as far as Mr. Algie's first half, well, I'm sure he's thinking better things for the second half.
Algie's very frustrated, has not scored. All 3 of his shots have come from the 3-point range, and he has 1 rebound.
It's a 13-point lead as Wills and company tries to cut into it heading up court. The Heron Tigers. Wills, that's a nice move, but not the shot. Hustling rebound in there by Greg Murphy, who's also in the ball game wearing number 23.
Again, right now, Pleasant Plains content to pack it in, knowing that right now they have to contend with Mike Gavick inside as Algie is on the bench.
Oh, Walker didn't have a prayer on that one. He had 2 Cardinals going up with him. Joe Miles and Mr.
Roth defensively has been very impressive this whole tournament. At 6'7", you know, very long wingspan. He probably has about a 6'10" wingspan or more. Just creates a lot of problems defensively. Very quick on his feet.
Wills, there's good leverage. He got up just right and on the dime. And it's an 11-point Cardinal lead with 24 seconds remaining and 1 shot remaining if Coach Cliff Cameron has his way.
Wills has been the one guy who's really looked to do things offensively, has half of their 14 points.
Pleasant Plains will have a good feeling about things going into the locker room regardless of how this turns out. Matt Bryant way outside the sophomore. No rebound fought for. It doesn't matter. The horn tells the players to head to the locker room and hear what adjustments must be made. For the Tigers, there'll be more adjustments than for the Cardinals, who lead it 25-14. We'll hear from Cliff Cameron momentarily. Of course, he's been in this position before, and you have to wonder if, as a coach, that's an advantage, because they always say it's an advantage for the players. Let's see what Lee Hall has on his mind as he talks to Cliff Cameron. Go ahead, Lee.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Coach, the defense getting it done out there. The press worked, and you guys are really getting the hand on the ball, denying pass as well.
Yeah, I think we're doing a good job with the pressure defense in the half-court area. The press has worked a few times, but they know their assignment inside, and they're doing a good job defensively against these guys. Offensively, their zone is kind of slowing us down a little bit. We're not getting real good shots. I think we need to work on halftime is find a way to get some easier shots in the lane there, which I think is open. So hopefully we'll get some easier shots against their zone in the second half and keep playing the defense the way we've been playing. And hopefully that's going to happen and things will be going all right for us.
All right, Coach, good start. Good luck to you second half. 25-14, back to you guys.
There's some hardware to pick up. Unity's going to pick up its 4th place trophy. And of course, Bureau Valley doing a 3-peat, picking up that 3rd place trophy. That's coming up after these local messages. They came with greater expectations than 3rd and 4th place, but only one will grab that trophy. Let's see who's picking up that 3rd and 4th place hardware. Let's go to our public address announcer, Paul Herzog.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, all fans are invited. Anyone interested in the motorcade, meet at Marquis Grain at 12:30 to follow the storm home. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to midcourt for the presentation of the 3rd and 4th place team and individual Class A March Madness Basketball State Final medallions. Presenting them will be the Board of Directors, the IHSA, Vice President Pat Sullivan of Roxana, Division 7, Emmett Aubrey of Geneseo Darnall, Division 4, Alan Chapman of Normal Community, Division 5, Ron McGraw of Knoxville, Division 6, Catherine Finch of Winnebago at large, and Treasurer Greg Bradley of Mount Zion, Division number 5. At this time, please meet the Rockets of Tolono Unity, who finished the season in 4th place with a record of 25-8. Let's meet the administration, coaches, and team members. Principal, Don Akers. Athletic Director, Scott Hamilton. Head Coach, Lance Freeman. Assistant coach, George LaFay. Assistant coach, Dallas Fender. Assistant coach, DJ Ellers. And now the Rockets. 00, David Ellers. Number 10, Josh Hardin. 11, Brian Moore. 12, Mitch Davis. 21, Tyler Smith. 23, Craig Bingaman. 24, Cole Voigt. 25, Derek Suits. 30, Brett Bennett. 32, Kyle Eichelberger. 33, Andy Eisenmenger. 43, Justin Little. 44, Tony Yezel. 50, Riley Pierce. And 55, Stratton Kellenhofer. The Rockets of Toledo Unity. At this time, please meet the Storm of Manlius Bureau Valley, who finished the 2002 season in third place, a final record of 31-4. Let's meet the administration, coaches, and team members. Superintendent, Dennis Thompson. Principal, Terry Gutschall. Athletic Director, Robert Haskell. Head coach, Brad Bickett. Assistant coach, Brett Helms. Assistant coach, Jason Stabler. Assistant coach, Nick Hartz. And now the Storm. Number 10, Reed Oberle. Number 12, Adam Gutschall. (14) Josh Marlowe. Number 20, Mike Giszelowski. 24, Brandon Bowman. 30, Jake Montesmith. 32, Phil Endress. 34, Justin Van Holten. 40, Nathan Koning. 42, Greg Cooley. 44, Nick Yates. 50, Chris Behrens. 52, Stephen Zabo. 54, Matt Moody. Managers, Jacob King and Jared Draper. The Storm of Bureau Valley, third consecutive third place. And now will Lance Freeman and the captains of Unity step forward to receive the 4th place trophy. Well, Coach Brad Bickett and the captains of Bureau Valley step forward to receive the 3rd place trophy. Congratulations to both teams on a great tournament and a great effort here in Peoria.
We'll be back with more of halftime in the championship game in Class A basketball from the Peoria Civic Center after these local messages. Pleasant Plains holds the advantage here at the break, 25-14. Herrin will come back and try to do something about it. Jamal Brecht along with Matt Taphorn, and if they're going to do anything about it, it's going to have to start with a little better shot selection.
Better shot selection. That starts with Brian Alge. He's had 3 shots. They've all been from 3-point range. They need to get it back inside. Picked up 2 fouls there in the first half. A little bit out of frustration as well.
Yeah, more fouls than he has points at this point in time, which is good news for Pleasant Plains. Let's take a look at some of these statistics here in this championship game from the Peoria Civic Center. 9 of 20 for Pleasant Plains. That's pretty much been their MO throughout this state championship run. They're a good shooting team, and Herrin hitting only 28% of their shots. 3-point field goals. Again, the advantage helped out there by Mr. Almsmeyer.
Well, you see assists as well, 6-1. That goes to show you Pleasant Plains is distributing the ball better, and Herrin is right now taking a few more forced shots.
Turnovers. Herrin has had problems early on with that press.
Well, that full court press, and it's not really been all the way down the floor, but it's more of a passive 3/4 court press. It has created some, unforced turnovers for Pleasant Plains.
And as you mentioned, unfortunately for Herrin, only 3 team fouls, but 2 of those with the big man, Brian Alge. Pleasant Plains scoring. Almsmeyer with 8 leading the way, and again you can see the good balance with Sunley and Edmondson. Wills has 7. He hit that big 3-pointer at the end of the first quarter, and Gavick has 5, but they need to get Brian Alge going.
Wills has been very active defensively. That's created some offensive opportunities for him, but Alge needs to get in the game. The whole team doesn't seem to be in sync in that first half. Gavick seems to be frustrated with some of the shot selection that Alge's been taking, and Wills is kind of creating on his own, so there's not a lot of team chemistry right now for Herrin.
And of course, Pleasant Plains doesn't make it easy to get the interior pass into Alge either. I mean, it's not just a matter of saying, okay, let's do it.
Well, I thought Joe Miles did a great job when he was on him. His main assignment was to keep Alge away from the basket. He pushed him out defensively, and when the shot went up, he blocked out and didn't even let Alge touch the ball when he was in the game.
Of course, a whole lot of people to thank when a tournament like this comes together. All the volunteers, all the people who work with us here on the IHSA TV network, and of course, Avanti's, home of the famous gondola. Thanks for providing great food for our production crew. Otherwise, they would starve, and that would not be a good thing. We're back after these local messages. Of course, a lot of contested games in yesterday's quarterfinal rounds. Now, of course, we have gotten it down to the nitty-gritty, Matt Taphorn, and this is the night. And Pleasant Plains has been here before. I don't know if it's that experience that's helping them or just the fact that they got a pretty darn good basketball team, but nonetheless, we got another half to play.
They have a very good team. A lot of balance out there, a lot of guys stepping up at different times in the ball game, and they'll need that again in the second half, because you can rest assured that Herrin made some adjustments at halftime.
Let's see what the coach who needs to play catch-up has to say here with Lee Hall. Lee?
All right, thanks, Jim. We're with Mike Mooneyham. No points for Brian Alge there in the first half. 1 rebound. You got to get him more involved.
Yeah, we do, and we're going to try to get him on a low block and get some penetration from the top and get both blocks covered. They've done a good job on him, and we got to get him the ball in some places where he can get some points for us.
All right, Coach, go get him.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys. You called it. They got to get Alge more involved, and Coach agrees with you.
Let's take a look at how some of the points got on the board, starting with Herrin and Mr. Wills.
Yeah, Eddie Wills really did a great job of creating offense out of his defense. That was a steal that he was able to get his hands on. And Mike Gavick inside, if he can create those lanes and get a step at the bucket, he's been very effective. Wills again inside the paint area, was able to drop in 2 of his 7 points. And Brad Walker on the baseline did a good job of maintaining the ball in possession and getting off the glass. But Almsmeyer, went down was a 3 we talked about in the open. And John Edmondson as well. The way he glides to the bucket, kisses it off the glass, and here on the post does it as well. He had 8 points in the first quarter, or first half, and then Alpsmeyer again from the three-point range. Very effective. That time Algie was a little slow getting out and covering on defensively on the perimeter, and that's something Pleasant Plains will take advantage of as well in the second half.
Back with the start of the second half after this timeout. Well, it's all down to how you perform in the final 16 minutes when it comes to championship night. The Cardinals look up and see the advantage, but can't really think about it. Herrin looks up, sees the disadvantage of 11, and has to think about it.
And if you're in Herrin's shoes, to be down 11 points as poorly as you played and getting no production out of Brian Algie, you really don't feel too bad in this situation. You could be down a lot more considering how Pleasant Plains played this afternoon.
Gavick inside, and that's the way to start it if you're a Herrin Tiger fan.
They talked about getting it on the blocks. Not only Brian Algie, but Gavick is very effective down low.
And you saw both Gavick and Algie on the low blocks on that offensive set. Down low to Roth. He's contested by Algie, who does a great job defensively. And out of there with it comes Michael Donnie as Herrin tries to chalk up another one. Wills had to take it away, but
Wills got fouled.
That's why he had to take it away. They're keeping Algie down low, moving him from low block to low block. And Gavick is right where he wants to be.
And suddenly just turned his head momentarily, and as soon as he did, Gavick sprinted to the opposite block and was able to get inside position and just lay it in.
Head coach Cliff Cameron for Pleasant Plains rarely takes a seat during the course of the game, and that's his MO again here tonight. Down on one knee, outside Sunley, too much iron, tipped out of there and controlled by the Cardinals.
Not very good shot selection that time down the floor by Pleasant Plains. They have not been able to get the ball in that inside-out action again, getting the ball in the high post to Roth and having to kick it to the opposite wing.
Oh, there's a wide open Sunley, but he's got to get over Algie, and he doesn't. Algie fighting for it and controlling it.
In the presence of Algie, was able to bother the shot that time by Sunley. He tried a circus shot to get the ball off the basket.
Gavick was inside again. He'll go to the free throw line. If he can nail these two, it'll be a 6-point run.
And Gavick, all he does is get right to the basket. And in transition, he goes straight for the bucket. And if you can find him there, he's very effective inside.
Gavick averaging 15 points per contest. Free throw shooting right around 67%. There's a good look at the man who has helped bring Herrin to a position where they haven't been since 1957, and that is with a real chance to win a state championship. Just one W more will get it done. We could have a 5-point ball game after this 15-footer, and we do.
Gavick now leading the way with 11 points, perfect on all 3 of his free throw attempts.
So the Cardinals, who had the early burst, now look for a resurgence.
And that 3-2 zone that Herrin's using is getting to the shooters on the perimeter, plus it's closing things up defensively.
Mike Mooneyham just left his feet and came down in disgust with that call. He wanted the charge. The block was the call instead. Let's listen in.
Well, it looked like Edmondson's head might have hit Gavick's knee that time instead of the floor. I think a lot of people may have assumed it hit the floor, but he's trying to shake the cobwebs out and go to the line for 2 shots.
The 6'5" junior. Ends the 6-0 run for the Tigers. The Tigers needed some momentum coming out of the locker room, and they got it. So
it was a tough call in that situation too. I thought Gavick had good position. Edmondson kind of went out of control to the basket. He got the benefit of the doubt and went to the line and knocked in both free throws.
Algie, yeah! The big man dancing along the sideline. He'll go to the free throw line.
And that's where he was very effective in the first 2 ball games of this state finals tournament. Getting the ball on the baseline, turning that outside shoulder, a little fadeaway jump shot. Again, Joe Miles right on him defensively, a little too close that time. Gets whistled for the foul.
Almost an impossible shot to stop as far as him getting the release off. It's a 4-point game. That's as close as Herron's been since the first quarter.
Algie's looking much more focused now coming into the second half. He and Gavick have helped this team cut into that 11-point halftime deficit. Now it's only down to 4.
Algie, 6'9" and 255 pounds of intensity, but Joe Miles, whose offense has really picked up in the state tournament, takes it down the lane.
And that's that good ball movement inside. Jordan Roth on the baseline dumps it into Miles as Roth was able to draw Algie out of the middle of the paint.
Now we're cooking. That's Eddie Wills. He's got that quick first step, and then he stops on the dime and goes straight up.
Great elevation inside. He's able to hit that short little floater inside. He has 9 points in the ball game.
Sunley almost traveled. Coach Mike Mooneyham wanted that to happen, but it didn't. As the game grows older, the intensity picks up. Nice pass to Sunley underneath, has it blocked, but too much body according to the official underneath. Close calls here, man.
On Brian Algie, and I thought he got all ball in that situation. Sunley was out of control, tried to come around to the opposite side of the basket. Algie was waiting right on him and looked like he got all ball.
Mooneyham thinks it's Gavick with the personal foul. At least he thought that's how the call should have gone, but it did go against Brian Algie, and that's a mighty big 3 up there on the board next to his name under personal fouls.
And Algie just found out it was on him, and he's discussing it with the officials. He's in disbelief right now.
And Mooneyham has to make a call here. Does he get his big man out, or does he keep him in for the run? It's a 5-point lead. The Cardinals hanging on at the moment. We'll be back after these local messages. Hit it, Eddie.
(30-25) our score. It's Herron trailing now by 5, and we're with Coach Mooneyham's wife, Andrea. She's awake now, doggone. I was trying to be quiet. She's been asleep the whole time.
She's been sleeping this whole game so far. I don't know how, but she has been. I think we've worn her out this weekend.
Honey, there's a ball game going on, you know.
You gonna say anything?
No, okay. You have just done double duty and now triple duty. You're the cheerleading advisor, you're the coach's wife, you're a mom. I mean, bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan, right?
That's right, that's right, that's right.
Tell me about these kids out there. Down 11, they've come back nicely here.
Yes, they have, and they'll do everything they can to get back in the game. They're good kids. They're going to work hard to win it. They've been very excited this weekend, and I think they can do it.
All right, honey, you go back to sleep, okay? I'll be quiet now. All right, back to you guys.
Husband and wife. Here's Gavick inside. Mike Gavick. I'll tell you what woke that little girl up. That turnaround baseline jumper by Algie.
Well,
that woke her up.
The first half performance, I think, put her to sleep by Herron. Now they're starting to play, so she wants to watch.
It's down to a 3-point ball game.
And Herron has hit all 5 shots that they've had here in the second half.
Roth contested inside. That was just a good entry pass. If they call that on Algie, that's going to be serious trouble for Herron.
I don't think so.
No, Gavick says it's me.
Oh my goodness. Boy, oh boy.
Let's take a look. You make the call at home. Algie's in pain. Did he get the correct call?
Well, Algie kind of hacked him from behind, but there was a lot of contact with Gavick first, but they could have gone either way. I see where the official made the call on Algie, but not sure that Gavick may not have fouled him first.
That's a very close call and a very tough call for Herron Tiger fans to take right now, because the man with all the talent can't use it. He's on the bench with 4 fouls. Checking in is Joe Mazer.
That may be a situation, too, where you second-guess yourself and leaving Algie in the game like that with 3 fouls. And I'm not so sure it wasn't, the wrong decision at that point.
Full court pressure almost paid off.
With
Plains.
4 minutes left in the third quarter, you have one of your big guns in foul trouble. You know, a situation where you could put him on the bench for a little while, and he wasn't creating a lot of the offense for you anyway. Mike Gavick certainly was. And a situation where you could have maybe given him a few minutes on the bench.
Well, they're going to have to depend on Gavick for at least the next 4 minutes, and also Eddie Wills as Pleasant Plains talks it over. Oh, look at that. That win against Pekin now. You Pekin. Well, I'm just saying that one Pekin thing there. Herons win against Elgin down here in the quarterfinals. I was just noting that Pekin win because the man I'm working with, Matt Taphorn, he is all about Pekin, aren't you?
Well, Pekin's heading to their first super sectional in 30 years this next Tuesday against Springfield Lamphere down at Redbird Arena.
Against the pressure, and a foul on the pitch in the corner.
So Heron even at 3 here in the second half. 2 of those 3 for Heron are against their big man inside, Brian Algie.
Getting it across the timeline with no problems. Now they need to set up the offense and see what they can get inside. Eddie Wills can catch fire. He doesn't score a ton of points, but as you've already noticed here in the first half, he's got offense. He's got game.
It appears that Heron's going to try to take some air out of the ball here with Brian Algie on the bench, spread things out a little bit, try to get some angles to the bucket.
Like that one. Eddie Wills.
Good move that time by Coach Mike Mooneyhand to spread things out, give Eddie Wills an opportunity to get to the bucket. Brian Algie on the bench.
Altsmeyer in and out and back in on the tip as well.
And right there's 2 points that they get with Brian Algie sitting on the bench with 4, and that tip in by Jordan Roth. Don't have the big rebounder in the ball game.
It's like there's a vacancy sign underneath the backboard now with Algie out of there.
Now Jordan Roth, the best defender for Pleasant Plains, to draw the assignment of Mike Gavick, trying to get him under control.
Wills couldn't make it 2 in a row as Roth goes up and controls the defensive glass, and it's a 5-point Cardinal lead as they bring it into the offensive court and turn it over. Eddie Wills brings it down.
Good hands defensively that time by Brad Walker. Poor entry pass, trying to create some inside offense with Brian Algie out of the ball game.
There's a man wide open underneath. It's Mazer, but he couldn't control the interior pass. Last touch, they say, by the Cardinals. Mazer comes in. He doesn't play a lot, only averages a half point a game, but he's got a lot of responsibility here for the next 2 or 3 minutes until they can put Mr. Algie back in the ball game. Nice jump pass. Gavick is fouled on the block before the shot. Here's how it's gone so far. Altsmeyer started hot, buried a couple threes. There's that balance that Pleasant Plains is known for. And then Gavick leads the way with 13, and Wills heating up here in the third quarter.
Roth now with 2 quick fouls, picked up that one, trying to body up Gavick on the block.
Walker can penetrate. He gets a block from behind, fights, gets it back, goes up, can't get it, goes up, can't get it. It's controlled by Heron. Gavick, will he hit that? No. He might have rushed that shot. And we've got a foul against Joe Mazer from behind. Mooneyham is in the official's ear. If he could fit in there, I think he'd jump in there.
That's an unfortunate call. You know, that didn't have anything to do with the play whatsoever. The guy already had cleared the rebound away. And Heron picks up their 4th team foul here in the second half.
Bringing it up slowly is Altsmeyer. And it would seem that the Heron Tigers have solved this offense somewhat. They've definitely slowed it down as far as the Cardinals' output is concerned. There's the alley-oop, but it hits the iron, and Mazer comes away with a gift rebound.
A little anxious on that pass was Edmondson.
Mazer gets the offensive glass. He has it blocked, but he'll go to the free throw line for his efforts. Roth with the personal.
Boy, Roth really felt like he got a lot of the ball there, too. I think three quick fouls for him in about the last 2 minutes of play. catches the ball, but he may have caught a little bit of the hand. The official was right on the play, made the call. But
Thomas Suki set to come in for Roth. Mazur gets a big free throw. He's only taken 11 free throws on the year. He's only made 4, so that's a big free throw for the senior from Herrin.
He had quite a few minutes earlier today as Algie was on the bench as well, so that action may have lifted his confidence here for this evening's ball game.
3-point ball game. You got to say this is much to the advantage of Herrin right now. Without Algie in the game, they've kept it right where it was when he left. Alley-oop. Contested. Mazur comes away with it. Last touch by Pleasant Plains. And you're wondering, why are you going for alley-oops at this point?
Well, I don't understand. You know, that's a tough pass regardless of who you're throwing it to, but you're throwing the ball in that situation at Thomas Suki on the baseline. He's not going to be your go-to guy with the players that are on the offensive end right now for Pleasant Plains. And tough pass from about 30 feet away to try to lob it over the defense.
Let's see if they wait for one. No, not with Gavick inside. That's a tough shot. Couldn't get it to fall. Bad angle. You have to wonder if Mooneyham didn't want him to wait for one. But I didn't hear the signal from the bench.
Yeah, poor shot selection that time. I think one shot would have been, you know, a better strategy, especially with Algie on the bench. At least they go into the fourth quarter only down 3 if they miss with the last second shot, and they have an opportunity to even tie the ball game with a 3-pointer.
Alsmeyer will just wait until about 10 seconds.
See if Pleasant Plains tries to set up a shot opportunity from Alsmeyer from the 3-point range.
Here we go. There's the baseline. There's Edmondson, and Gavick got it.
Very aggressive foul that time by Gavick. Edmondson will draw the foul and go to the line for 2. That's Gavick's second foul. And again, this is one of the advantages that a player like Edmondson has, is he's very quick on that baseline. Good slide move, avoids contact, and draw the foul.
61% free throw shooter. Got that to roll.
And 10 out of 12 from the line in the ball game for Pleasant Plains. Much better performance here this evening.
Drops them both. Long shoot. Oh, he was on target a little bit too hard for Brad Walker. We're taking a break here. After these local messages, we'll be back.
Thanks a lot. We're with Crystal Lucas. Her husband is one of the assistant coaches. She also helps with the cheerleaders. And I know you want to say hi to a special fan back in Herrin who couldn't make it.
That's right. His name's Bob Bridges, and he lives at Chestnut Manor. We're really sad he's not here, but he's at home jumping up and down right now. So go Tigers, go Bob.
And he's part of the program Herrin Tiger Fun Day. Explain what that is.
Fun Day is an event that the basketball team hosts where we have carnival games and all kinds of activities for all the developmentally disabled adults in our area. The basketball team puts it on. The players eat with them and help them play the games and things. And then they give them a T-shirt and a season pass so they get to come to the game for free. It's a great day for everyone. We all learn a lot.
All right. Hello to everybody back there on the home front. Back to you, Jim.
Thanks, Lee. Foul inside. Thomas Suki picked up the personal as Gavick got the interior pass. And you'd have to say at the end of 3 quarters, Herrin, ooh, what a block by Sunley. Wills got it back somehow. Wills went up, and he never got it launched. And Gavick is fouled inside by Suki.
Yeah, Sunley very quick defensively, but inside, that's 2 quick fouls against Suki. His Gavick is very strong, quick inside.
Taking a look at the numbers, Herrin trying to pick up that field goal percentage. 3-point field goals not falling for Herrin. Free throws much to the advantage, of course, of Pleasant Plains, but we still got another 7.5 to play here and a 5-point advantage, which Gavick will try to cut into for the Tigers. Nope. At this juncture, that's a pretty big miss.
Just like a turnover when you get fouled inside for a one-on-bonus opportunity and miss the first.
There's a steal. I'm telling you, Joe Mazur has had an effect here, filling in for Brian Algie. Algie's still on the bench with those 4 fouls. He'll probably come in at about the 6-minute mark. Gavick down low. It's blocked. Mazur back up. It's good.
I tell you what, you mentioned it right off the bat. Mazur has been a big effect off the bench.
A miss at the other end.
Rebound again.
Look at him. Here we go. A three and we're tied. Walker in a hurry. Contact, no call. Loose on the floor. Gavick is fouled. And Gavick is hurt. He came down on that right thigh and he's got a cramp.
Gavick trying to shake it off there. A lot of action. Good save that time by Sunley as the ball's in the air. Gavick goes up. Alfmeyer comes in from underneath him and just kind of cuts his legs out from underneath him. Unintentional, of course. Edmondson comes up a little hobbled on the play and he'll try to shake it off and he'll be all right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Mike Gavick's not thinking about anything but the next 6:41. Bruises be darned. And Gavick came away empty on his last 1-and-1.
And this is a guy, the guy coming right in right now. Joe Miles for Suki, I think, needs to be in the ball game. Gavick's getting too much momentum offensively, and Suki is not the guy to try to guard him inside.
Nope, not there. Rebound is touched last by Plains. Pleasant Plains, that is a correct call.
That's two straight 1-and-1 missed opportunities for Gavick at the line. This time he's fortunate that his team maintains possession.
Brian Alge anxious to get back in. Walker better hurry. And he does. Michael Donnie just goes into the backcourt and takes care of the pass. Walker's going to force it. That won't go, will it?
Yes! Good defense, I thought, by Alfmeyer. Just kept staying with Walker, but Walker took it up strong and laid it off the rim.
Well, if you wanted a close championship game in State A, you got it. Here's another bad pass inside. Alfmeyer tried to hit Roth, but that wasn't there, Matt.
Boy, Aaron does a great job just packing in. They realize that with Alge on the bench that Pleasant Plains wants to try to get the ball down in low. Last three possessions, they've been ineffective trying to get that entry pass.
Walker hanging in and out. Rebound Roth. That would have been their first lead of the game. Sunley will set it back up. Roth with a nice pass around the perimeter. Did he walk? He did. Turnover. And Pleasant Plains has kind of come unglued here.
Edmondson a little excited to get moving that time with his patented baseline move. Took a couple of steps.
Cliff Cameron wants to talk it over. This is all happening with Alge on the bench. We'll be back after this timeout. Don't go anywhere. Speaking of drives, the Heron Tigers, trailing by 11 at the break, are now down within one and have control of the basketball. Brian Alge is on the bench with 4 fouls. And they've got to hurry and beat the 10 seconds, and they do. Getting it into the hands of Joe Mazur, who has been nothing short of phenomenal here, filling in for Alge. Wills gets it over to O'Donnell, and that's nothing. Nothing but air.
O'Donnell was a little too excited. He was that wide open, wanted to hit that bucket and give his team the lead. Just put a little too much muscle into that one.
Heron has had 2 trips down to take the lead. They've come away empty.
See if Pleasant Plains a little bit more patient offensively, trying to get that ball inside.
They do to Sunley. Sunley driving, and he won't get it to fall. Gets his own rebound. He's fouled. That's determination by Ryan Sunley, the 3-year starter for Pleasant Plains, who wants to add another trophy memory, a first-place memory, to his high school career as Brian Alge checks in after this free throw.
It's a good foul in that situation by Mazur inside. Sunley had an open look. Rather than give him an easy lane, make him earn it from 2. He's now 4 out of 6 from the free throw line here in this ballgame.
A big hand for Joe Mazur as he comes out, and none bigger than from his coach, Mike Mooneyham. And now it's a matter of Alge contributing, but not getting that 5th foul. 2 free throws good by Sunley, and it's a 3-point ball game. And the pressure is there, and you don't want to give up the dribble too early against this press. Wills can break it. Wills gets it over nicely to Gavick. Gavick can't get it. There's Alge. He can't get it. He's got it back. It's gone. If looks could kill, I'd be deceased. He is determined, folks. Look at it again.
Great action. Roth couldn't get both hands on it. Algie stayed after it. Good job not going over the back and picking up that 5th foul, but he's kept his hands up high, went back up and laid it in, gets the foul, and to go to the line for a 3-point opportunity.
Will we be tied? No. Boy, if Herrin falls short tonight, they're going to look at that free throw line and curse it. Or at least think it was cursed. Time now becomes critical. 4:40 remaining. Pleasant Plains gets it out front in the hands of Joey Albsmeyer.
Pleasant Plains still trying to rotate out on the perimeter to get some open looks. Haven't had much success with that entry pass into the high post area.
And their threes have gone quiet. There's an interior pass.
Yeah,
nicely done to Roth.
And that's that high-low action they've been very successful at this tournament. That time into Sunley and down low on the block to Roth for the easy lay-in. And with Algie with 4 fouls, couldn't really contest the shot.
Again, a 3-point lead. Walker in trouble, got it back. Now we'll go out to Wills. This is a very tough shot. I don't think he wanted that one.
And Sunley really did a good job of recovering to Wills and flying at the shot. Made Wills adjust it in midair and throw a little high.
Edmondson finds a man across the lane, but he charged when he let go of the pass. And it's Mike Gavick setting up shop, and Gavick is getting some bruises tonight, but they're worn like medals.
Great job by Gavick that time, realizing that's the move that Edmondson likes to make. Along that baseline, he held his ground and drew the charge.
Pleasant Plains has fallen to 39% from the field. Herrin picked it up a little bit from their first half performance, up to 33%. Free throws really the difference here tonight so far.
Close games, that's going to be the factor.
Uh-oh, numbers. Wills over to Algie.
Better job being patient, trying to break that press that time, and Wills did a good job. He had choice on either side, either block. He had Gavick on one, Algie on the other. Algie gets the easy lay-in.
3.5 minutes remaining for a state championship. Pleasant Plains claims the lead for the time being, and also claims a little patience on this trip down. Albsmeyer with a beautiful pass to Sunley, a reverse lay-in. Ryan Sunley.
Great move by Sunley that time. Used the rim to his advantage. Avoided the contact from Algie, and it'll be a blocking foul at Sunley.
And 2 free throws. They already have 10 as a team here in this half. And after 2 missed 1-and-1s and then the back end of a 3-point attempt by Algie, if you're a Herrin Tiger fan, do something to that free throw line right now. You got to get the good vibes going for Brad Walker. Thank you. Mr. Walker's parents. Trying not to look anxious, but doing a bad job of it. Got him both.
Good looking shot from the free throw line time by Brad Walker. Shoots 73% on the season. Knocked both those down at a critical point.
Coach Mike Mooneyham off the bench about 15 feet down right in front of me, looking at this defensive stand by his Herrin Tigers. Edmondson. There's a dangerous pass. Last touch by Pleasant Plains. Turnover. We're coming the other way. Herrin has a chance to take the lead.
That's 12 turnovers in ball game now for Pleasant Plains, and Albsmeyer has just been too anxious on the top to get the ball down low. Getting a little frustrated with that 3-2 defense from Herrin.
Timeout. Tigers. They want to talk it over. It's a good time to set up an offensive play right now. We will be back after this timeout. All the hours behind the garage, all the hours in the gym, and it comes down to this. We've got a 1-point ball game. Pleasant Plains leads it, but they're back on defense. They have the advantage with timeouts, Matt, but the foul situation is definitely in favor of Herrin.
Well, the way they've shot free throws here in the ball game, 8 for 11, have improved a little bit as of late. Those 2 big shots by Walker there to cut the lead to 1. That could be very important with the 2-shot opportunities here down the stretch.
As you saw, Herrin also owns the possession arrow should there be a scramble and a tie-up. Eddie Wills will run the play as coach has ordered. The play says go inside to Gavick. A half hook, not there. Didn't miss by much, but it didn't go down.
And Roth was right there to corral the rebound with 2 hands. Very strong, wanted to make sure he got that possession.
Down along the baseline, it is Edmondson. Getting it back is Edmondson. No call. They wanted a foul, and Pleasant Plains can't believe it.
That was more of a foul, I think, than Algie had been whistled for on a couple of occasions in this ball game. A lot of arm that time as Edmondson was trying to get up to the basket.
Under 2 minutes. Wills, who with a dangerous pass on the wing, but Michael Donnie corralled it. Here's Walker off the glass. Got it! Has the lead. Now remember, Pleasant Plains has been in this situation many times lately. A bad pass inside. Grabbing it is Roth. He couldn't get it. Algie got in his way. Out of bounds. It'll belong to the Cardinals. And I was about to say, Matt, when you're in 2 OTs, and of course Coach Cameron having a little discussion with the official over there.
Cameron's getting very frustrated down there. He feels like Algie's gotten away with a few questionable fouls here in the last couple of minutes. Maybe those are makeup calls for the fouls that were called against him earlier in the ball game.
I was about to say, if you're a Heron fan, you're saying, hey, he didn't deserve too early, but hey, we're not calling the game on the floor. We're just calling the action from the sideline. There's a nice interior pass to Roth. He's fouled this time, and that will go. It looks like, well, let's just wait
on
and see.
Gavick, I believe.
Eddie Wills is what they decide. Eddie Wills with his second. Jordan Roth.
I didn't see Wills in on the play. I don't know where that came from.
I'd have to see it again. There were a lot of bodies flying down in there. Roth trying to tie it up and doesn't. Does not.
Gave up on the free throw. Left the free throw line a little too early that time. Jordan Roth is a 71% free throw shooter on the year. See if he follows through a little better this time.
Yep. With 1:10 remaining, it's dead even from the Peoria Civic Center. Heron has not won a state championship since 1957.
And
Pleasant Plains won one 2 years ago.
Heron, as we mentioned, only has 1 timeout left, so it'd be interesting to see if they try to call a timeout in this situation. If they get a tied-up ball, it might be a critical time to hold on to that timeout for later.
Walker gets it over on the wing to Gavick underneath. Couldn't get it. And he's got it. Roth went up, got the rebound, and Gavick basically a frustration foul for missing the shot.
It was a frustration foul. He had a good look at the basket, tried to avoid contact and go underneath instead of going on the strong side of the rim. He had the angle. Roth did a good job of getting up defensively after it, and then went up with 2 hands again for the rebound and gets the hard foul that time by Gavick.
Roth 1 of 2 on the last trip down. The All-Stater from Pleasant Plains looks at a 1-and-1. Doesn't get it. Rebound, Sunley. Sunley is blocked from behind. It is saved and then out of bounds. Pleasant Plains will get it. They say that Eddie Wills stepped on the end line. Man, the action is almost too intense to call at this point.
And Pleasant Plains with 3 timeouts left, it might be a situation where they can use them a little bit more. They're going to try to run the clock down as well, and maybe get a last-second shot opportunity.
It could come down to a buzzer beater for the championship. Let's see. Almsmeyer had that ball tipped, and it's taken away by Wills.
That time, Heron had a guy guarding the ball out of bounds. Mike Gavick got his hand on the ball, created the turnover.
Wills will go inside. He'll put up off the glass. Doesn't get it again. I don't know why they went for the shot.
They did that the last 2 possessions. They got, you know, and that's what happens when you only have 1 timeout left. You can't spend it to really make sure your team's on the right page. In the last 2 possessions, they've gone to the basket too quick.
I'll tell you one thing. From just looking at the reaction of Mike Mooneyham, he did not want Eddie Wills to take that shot. He wanted to burn some time. Let's go see what Mike Mooneyham has to say to his Tigers.
Let's shake it off, guys. All right, we're okay. We're going to hold the ball. Yeah, we're going to hold it and then we'll get something. I'm just saying, okay? Right, we got to have body on body, guys. Got to have body on body. Hey, don't get beat by 4. No. Go 5. 8 seconds. 8 seconds to go.
You could see the frustration on Mike Mooneyham's face, because when his team had the ball offensively, Matt, he was going to call that last timeout, it seemed to me, and set up the final play. Instead, the roles are now reversed because it is Pleasant Plains with the call on the last shot of the game.
That was a great shot in the huddle there. One timeout for Herrin left, and that created some of the problem there. You never know when you might need timeouts throughout the game. You may call them at different junctures to create a situation where you have those timeouts left at the end of the game, and now they're left with one. Weren't able to call one in a critical situation.
Joey Alsmeyer will walk it up. Everybody holding their breath at the Peoria Civic Center. We're down.
It doesn't look like Pleasant Plains is going to use another timeout. They're just going to go right away and try to get the ball through the bucket.
For the state championship, this will be the play. Alsmeyer had it taken away. Timeout with 2.6 seconds.
Now a foul is called, I believe.
Let's see what the call is. Is it a foul or not? Let's see. The official coming to the bench.
They did call a foul.
They did call a foul.
No, wait. No, they called timeout.
Okay.
Number 15 on White called the timeout.
Because he was showing 1-5.
Yeah, but they're referring to 15 called the timeout. Great defensive effort. Boy, you got to question that offensive play that time. Why would you run the play through Sunley on the block? You got a size mismatch, but even if he does get the ball, he's got with 4 seconds to play. Just didn't really get much penetration to the basket.
Eddie Wills might have been in the doghouse for about 20 seconds there until he took that ball away down at the other end, Matt. Because Eddie Wills was the young man who, of course, took the shot that may have came a little bit early, the way Mike Mooneyham sees it. But now we're looking at a long shot here, or OT. 2 timeouts remaining for Pleasant Plains.
And Herrin has to get the ball in bounds here. They could be a situation with the ball out of bounds underneath that they can't get it in. They don't have a timeout. So you got to be careful not to get a 5-second call on this out of bounds play.
Whether they have a play that's along the lines of a baseball pass, whether they pick somebody at half court, I don't know. But remember, if the ball is not touched and it goes out of bounds, then Pleasant Plains would have it
and
underneath their own basket.
I would anticipate Jordan Roth to be defending the ball out of bounds with his size, his wingspan, really trying to bother that pass, trying to get the ball in bounds.
Gavick and Algie will wait back in their own offensive end, and Walker will have to throw the baseball pass. He does. It's intercepted by Miles as he knocked it out of bounds with 0.4 seconds left. And you don't expect a whistle with contact with about a second left out there.
No, at 0.4, there can't be a catch and shoot. It has to be a tip.
So it looks like we're headed for OT. Gavick. Oh! We had 2 players getting each other's way. It looked like Eddie Wills might have gotten into Gavick's way, but nonetheless, we're headed for OT. I'd like to see that one again. That
That's
wasn't
the play
a bad
you have
pass.
to run in that situation, but again, you're not going to get that call. It's going to have to go in the bucket.
It'll take an overtime to decide a State A Class A champion. We're back after these local messages. We are back for the overtime at the Peoria Civic Center. Herrin was down by 11, had their big man in foul trouble, somehow scratched and clawed their way back to tie it. An exciting finish to the regulation, but nobody came away hitting the net, and Herrin will get the first go in the OT. Tied at 43s.
See if the statistics prove out. 80% of the time, the first team that scores in overtime wins.
Pleasant Plains has been in OTs, it would seem like, all postseason long.
The experience is definitely with them. The other stat I'd like to throw out is in games that decided by 5 points or less. We talked about this in an early game.
Over and back.
Pleasant Plains, Herrin rather, is 0-4 in those games decided by 5 or less.
Mike Mooneyham is saying, is it over and back? If Sunley controlled it for a second and hit it over the midcourt line? It's a good question.
I don't think Sunley ever had it. I think Wills dribbled the ball still in the front court and went in the back court.
Well, that was the call. Pleasant Plains won in overtime in the postseason against Virginia. Won in overtime here in the quarterfinals against Bloomington Central Catholic. Will they win it all in overtime? Three for Joey Altsmeyer.
And Altsmeyer starts the overtime just the way he started the ball game with the first 3 of the points of the game.
Big shot by Joey. Inside to the big man. Nice move, and it's a 1-point game. Brian Algie with 2.
That was such an easy bucket. Why, the question is, why haven't you been doing that the whole game?
That's why they play it, so all the fans can ask questions and the coaches can coach and the players can either dispatch the plays or ad-lib the plays. Who knows? They're young men. Miles, interior pass, but Roth can't shake free, and so they'll kick it back out to Altsmeyer.
Pleasant Plains has been able to get in the high post last few times here on this possession. See if they can get that high-low going again. They've been very effective at
every possession. So critical. Walker hits the deck, no call.
Pops back up and almost made the steal.
Yeah. Suddenly didn't expect him to get back up that quickly. Under 2 minutes.
Pleasant Plains with the lead and the ball may be content just to hold on to it with that 1-point lead.
Champions in the year 2000 against champions in the year 1957. Kind of a time capsule as far as these two teams are concerned, the present and the past. Altsmeyer looked like he might want to do something there, but just wanted to crank it back out to Roth and take more time off the clock.
And here again, Pleasant Plains does have 3 timeouts. If they get into a situation where they have to burn one, they've got plenty left.
Little game of cat and mouse in the OT. There's trouble. They took it away. Wills with a quick hand. And now some contact, and that's a foul.
Boy, John Edmondson just made a bad play on both ends of the floor. Tried to dribble through traffic instead of picking the ball up. And at the other end, he didn't back off of Wills and maintain his defensive position. He's whistled for the blocking foul.
Wills has quick hands, quick feet, and here's that foul by Edmondson.
He fouls him 35 feet away from the basket, too.
The best free throw shooter on the team going for the tie.
All net. It's a lot of time to try to take off the clock when you pull it out like that, and Pleasant Plains came up with a turnover. Their 10th of the, or actually 15th of the ball game.
Herron has the lead. .1 minute left in regulation. And now you can't sit and wait. You got to be aggressive, and that's what they'll do. Edmondson with a nice pass down low. Algie's gone. Roth took it to the rack. He'll go to the free throw line, and Brian Algie's high school career is finished.
This high-low action that Pleasant Plains has been very successful all weekend. That time got low to Jordan Roth. Edmondson appeared to be standing straight up inside. Roth was able to draw the contact and go to the line. It'll be a 2-shot foul opportunity for Jordan Roth at the line. So far in this ball game, he's 3 for 5.
Brian Algie watches Roth tie it up. Algie set most of the second half on the bench in foul trouble. The Iceman cometh in the form of Jordan Roth, the senior. And we've got a timeout on the floor with the Cardinals from Pleasant Plains holding the slimmest of margins, and Herron trying to counter on their next trip down. We'll come back and show it to you after these local messages. Well, they talk about experience in basketball, Matt Taphorn, but overtime experience, Pleasant Plains definitely has it in the postseason, as I mentioned. And in the 2 previous games, Virginia and Central Catholic, those teams had the basketball in the final seconds. This time around, of course, it was Herron with the basketball, although Pleasant Plains coughed it up with about 3 seconds remaining in regulation. Eddie Wills will bring it up. There are 40 seconds remaining, and Herron has to get something into that white thing up there around the hoop.
Look for Mike Gavick inside to establish position. Try to give it to him on the block.
Walker kicks it back out. Wills forcing it, baseline, headed block. Up there with it, Gavick. It's out of bounds, it's off Pleasant Plains. No, they say it is off of Heron. Joe Mazer in the game, of course, replacing Algie. It went off somebody's knee down low. Here comes full court pressure. And a foul in the backcourt by Brad Walker.
I don't think that's the guy you want to foul. The All-Stater senior won the ice this game for his team. He's been to the line more. He's 5 for 7 from the free throw line. Edmondson also had the ball. He was 4 for 4, so he's probably not the guy you want to foul either.
Gavick almost had control of that rebound at the other end, Matt, but he just couldn't get it, and then it bounced off a knee, and now Jordan Roth can make it a 3-point game. In and out. Heron still has plenty of life left with a trip down court. Full timeout. 16 seconds remain. Can Heron tie it? We'll find out after this timeout. This copyrighted broadcast is presented for the entertainment and non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association is strictly prohibited. Don't forget about the AA finals. Of course, my sidekick here, Matt Taphorn, played his high school ball at Pekin, and Pekin's in the Sweet 16, as is somebody from my neck of the woods, Moline. But of course, there are 16 teams left, so we'll see who makes it down here for the quarterfinals. We want to thank Avanti's for providing great food for our production crew. Go catch yourself a gondola. Don't jump out of one, eat one. There's the numbers. But it's all in the hands of Heron right now. Old Donnie with a terrible pass. It gets away, and that could do it. Wills could never get a hold of it, and that might do it for Pleasant Plains on the turnover. Trying to get the ball to Eddie Wills, and it wasn't there. Let's take a look again.
Good defense by Sunley in the corner. Deflected it momentarily off of Will's hands, and Sunley's able to get the ball. The hard foul there by Gavick. Jordan Roth will go back to the line, try to have a better performance in his 1-on-2, make this a 2-possession ball game.
Well, if he hits 2, it's 9-9. Tigers. There's the first one.
This is the free throw that counts right here. If he can hit this one, the game's virtually over.
All the Cardinal fans watching it.
Nope.
In and out. Here we go. Old Donnie has the ball. He's got a fire. It's up. It's no good. It's off the top. It looked like it might have the angle, but it's Pleasant Plains with their second championship in 3 years in dramatic fashion here at the Peoria Civic Center. Man, it was hanging in doubt. And that thing looked like it might have the angle off the high glass.
Bank in. I thought it was going to bank in off the square up there, and they got the shot. They had an opportunity. Unfortunately, it didn't go down. Tough way to lose, but a great championship game.
Michael Donnie had hit a few threes this year, but none would have been bigger than that. But he gave it a go. Let's go out to Lee Hall and talk about victory, Lee.
Well, Cliff Cameron is getting congratulations all around. Boy, what a way to finish the year, huh?
Oh, it sure is. I can't. Obviously, there's not a better way to finish the season. You know, for these guys, their final game, senior year, to win a state championship. That's the only way, the best way to go, and I'm so proud of them.
Jordan Roth hit some big free throws down the stretch for you. Had to have them.
He sure did. Big free throws down the stretch. There, the ice right there. A big steal there in the corner. You know, it was a tight game all the way. And I'm so proud. They did a good job.
Tell me about some of your thoughts there in the final minutes. I mean, you tried to hold it there for a while, and they gave the ball up, and then you got it back. It was just, it had to tax all of you.
You never know. I know a lot of people don't like when you try to hold that ball. It's a tough decision sometimes. And then when we go and run the play, we throw the ball away. And we really didn't make good decisions during that second half very often. We were trying to force some passes that we didn't need to, that weren't really open. So, you know, we may not have played the perfect game, but I tell you what, we had a perfect season as far as finalizing with the state championship.
2 in 3 years, Coach. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, Jordan Roth made some big. What do you got here, son? All right, pleasant play. Oh boy, that hit the presses pretty quick. Some huge free throws down the stretch for you.
I missed a lot of them, but hey, made enough to win, I guess. This is great. This is great.
Tell me about second half there. Did you guys get tentative offensively? What happened?
Yeah, I think we started playing not to win, and we started just holding the ball out around the perimeter, and they started coming back. They hit a lot of good shots, and great game for the fans.
Pretty physical battle. I thought you did a nice job on the boards tonight too.
Thank you very much. Algie, he's a big guy. Mike Gavik's a great player. 2 of the better post players we've seen all year, and we did a good job hitting the boards. They did a good job hitting the boards, and pretty even game.
2 in 3 years. How sweet is that?
This is great. Feels even better as a senior. This is awesome.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, Jordan Roth, a winner, his second state championship trophy in 3 years. Back to you, Jim.
Thanks, Lee. I was just checking in with our public address announcer, of course. He wants to make sure that everybody gets their rightful presentation. And if you saw the look on Brian Algie's face, you could tell just how much Herrin wanted this thing. And it just came down to who didn't make a mistake in the end, Matt. That's pretty much what it boiled down to.
He didn't perform in his best game. You know, his last game as a senior. Mike Gavik also disappointed in the loss. He played very well in this state tournament.
He sure did.
But you got to tip your hats off to a team like Pleasant Plains. They really, as a team, performed well, and I thought they were the best team in this state tournament final series, but Herrin really gave it their all as well.
Let's turn it over now to Paul Herzog, our PA announcer.
Superintendent Mark Collins. Principal Terry Riker. Athletic Director Rob Sherrill. Head Coach Mike Mooneyham. Assistant Coaches Irv Lukens.
Yeah, you guys are treated as well.
Ron Nessler and John Sims. Here are the Tigers. 5, Tristan Tripp. 10, Brad Walker. 15, Eddie Wills. 21, Mike Aldani. 23, Greg Murphy. 24, Adam Crompton. 25, Kyle Harlow. 30, Chris McCowan. 33, Adam Faulkner. 35, Mike Gavik. 42, Nate Falkenberry. 44, Dustin Harrison. 50, Brian Algie. 54, Joe Mazer. 55, Jason Mancino. The scorekeeper, Tim Miller. The Tigers of Herrin High School. season in first place, a record of 32-3. Let's meet the administration, coaches, and team members. Superintendent Don White. Principal Maureen Talbert. Athletic Director Gary Frazee. Head Coach Cliff Cameron. Assistant Coach Dan Watson. Assistant Coach T.J. Frazee. Player and assistant coach Ryan Needham. For Aaron Dietz. Five, Andy Crumpton. Ten, Michael Lucchese. 12, Jamie Kleimenhagen. 15, Jordan Roth. 20, Stephen Brown. 21, Joey Albsmeyer. 25, John Edmondson. 30, Matt Bryant. 32, Aaron Rappaport. 40, Ryan Sunley. 42, Brett Oswald. 44, Curtis Nelson. 52, Thomas Suki. 54, Joe Miles. The manager, Alex Humphrey. Cardinals of Pleasant Plains, state champs, Class A 2002. Now will Coach Mike Mooneyham and the captains of Herrin please step forward to receive the second place trophy. Coach Cliff Cameron and the captains of Pleasant Plains, please step forward and receive the first place trophy, 2002 Class A champions. This announcement for the Herrin fans, there'll be a reception. Herrin High School gym at 3 o'clock tomorrow. The Herrin Tigers, their fans are invited to a reception at the high school.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's 2 trips to state in the last 3 years and 2 state championship trophies. What an outstanding job by Cliff Cameron, and I'm right out here amongst them. And you have to love the enthusiasm of the players and their fans and the community. Congratulations to Herrin. You know, it's hard to go home tonight when you don't win, but congratulations to them. Congratulations to Pleasant Plains on a great job tonight. Back to you guys.
Thanks for your work, Lee. We appreciate that, and we'll see you around the bend for hopefully another state championship. And Matt Taphorn, I think this game kind of typified what high school basketball is all about. You know, doing it right wins it. Mistakes win it. All kinds of things come into play. Anybody could have won this ball game.
And you see the emotions of the players too involved. The guys came out on the short end tonight, second place. Guys like Algie and Gavitt really gave it their all this weekend. very emotional. And from the winner's side, too, very emotional. These guys have been in it 3 years. Last year, a little bit of a disappointment. This year, they made it all the way, accomplished their goal and their objectives. Guys like Jordan Roth and Alpsmeyer, Sunley, those guys been in the program for a few years. They accomplished that feat once again this year.
Yes, they did. And of course, you can't take it away once it's yours, once you got that hand wrapped around that first place trophy. But nothing to be ashamed of for Herrin. They came oh so close to repeating 1957, but fell just a little bit shy. For all the crew on the IHSA television network, we want to say thanks for watching. Matt Taphorn, thank you, sir. I'm Jim Albrecht. Hey, we'll see you next weekend for the Double A's. Go basketball.